Assalamu alaikum. So I'm here today to talk about enterprise AI agents, and I'll define that a bit as we go through the presentation. But at a very high level, actually before I give the high level, maybe show of hands, which helps me calibrate the people in the room. How many of you used either Waze or Google Maps at least once in the last month? If you can please raise your hand. Okay, almost 100% of the room raised their hand. Same question, but instead of Waze now, think ChatGPT or Claude or some AI tool. Wow, almost 100% again raised their hand. Very advanced audience here. So if you're using these tools, then you would have seen that while they are great, they can every now and then make really big mistakes. This problem in AI is called the hallucination problem. I'm sorry, the timer is showing me 13 minutes. I was told I have 20 minutes. If it's 13, I need to know because I need to adapt my flow to adjust. If not, then please move it back to 20. So hallucination, which actually comes from the Arabic word halwasa. Halwasa is making up stuff. And that can be maybe okay if you're a consumer using AI, but if you're in business, and that's a legal contract, or a patient diagnosis, or a supply chain analysis, or even a marketing website investigation, like the talks we have seen today, that can be very, very dangerous. And you need something in place that protects you against that. And by the way, that's why if you're using ChatGPT, if you have it right now on your phone and you bring it up, you'll see they have a footnote at the bottom of ChatGPT that says ChatGPT can make mistakes. If you use Gemini from Google, same thing, you're going to see Gemini can make mistakes. For consumers, meaning for end users using AI directly, my recommendation to you is you always, if you're asking the AI to help you with an important decision, if it's an informational thing, then it's okay, but if it's a very important decision, I highly recommend you always ask the question in ChatGPT, take the answer, and then go to Gemini and say, what do you think of this answer? And that's usually a good way to double check because they hallucinate in different ways. But if you're in a business and you're relying on this technology now in and out for many parts of your organization, you need something that's more real time. And that's a key part of the talk we'll have today. But before I jump into that, and before we jump into details, I want to emphasize and stress the vision and the shift that we are going through in the market. The shift we are going through in the market is that in 5 years, every piece of software that you interact with, and in fact, even every device, like your watch, your glasses, your phone, mine all have AI in them right now. Don't worry, my glasses is not recording. They will all have AI in them, and the way you're going to interact with them is going to be like you interact with other humans. And we saw that today with Sense, like Sense from Contentsquare allows you to now, instead of navigating through the dashboards to get the number you care about, instead of having to do a long workflow to optimize your site, you can just ask it with natural language. Please do that for me. And it does that for you. That trend is going to keep happening over and over and over again for everything around us. And I sometimes hear people not complain, but I hear people say, oh, I would never trust AI and listen to it. I would never trust AI to do my job and listen to it. That would never happen. And then I asked them the same question I asked you at the beginning of this talk. Do you use Google Maps? And they always say yes. And then you go right, when Google Maps says go right, they say yes. You go left, when it says go left, they say yes. And then I tell them, who do you think is telling you to do that? An engineer back at Google is talking to you specifically to give you directions? No, that's the AI telling you what to do. And you are now trusting it and listening to it because it proved itself over and over again with you to be more capable than what you can do by yourself. because it's factoring in a lot more information, like the traffic, the weather, the new streets, in making these recommendations. That same effect will happen again with every single piece of software that we interact with. This chart just shows the massive momentum in the industry. There's a couple of charts here that I'm showing just to illustrate how this is happening. You can't stand in the face of this. It really launched. It's happening left and right everywhere. So if you look at Google Trends for how many folks are searching for agentic and how to make their software and applications more agentic, you will see that starting about a year ago, it just went in a hockey stick. It's like going up. I've never seen something grow at this speed in the technology space this fast before. Another very important signal to all of us and why this is going to be happening is, oops, that was not my next slide. Yeah, I skipped over a slide. Is this slide here, which is ChatGPT and the growth of ChatGPT. In many ways, ChatGPT is the canary in the gold mine. It's the signal ahead that's telling us how things are going to be. That we as humans prefer this way of interaction, of being able to talk with our software, talk with our microwave, and tell our microwave, go finish cooking this meal for me, and it will figure it out by itself. ChatGPT grew from, as you might have heard many times before, from 0 to 100 million users in 2 months. That never happened in history before. Never. The only thing that comes close is threads from Google, but sorry, from Facebook or Meta. But many of you would, including myself, would say that was cheating because they simply took the Instagram users and made them thread users. So that was fake growth. But if you look at pure organic product market fit growth, where people fell in love with this new way of working, with this new way of asking questions, with this new way of getting things done, nothing matches the speed with which ChatGPT took over. This was about 3 years ago. So ChatGPT came out 3 years ago, roughly, almost exactly actually from today, which feels like decades ago for those of us in the industry. And today, ChatGPT is closing on 1 billion active users every week. Can you imagine that? In just 3 years for a product reach that level. And I look at that as that is the signal for what to come. Now, I'm a big sci-fi fan. I'm going to show you a small sci-fi clip in a second here. It's from one of my most favorite movies called The Matrix. Please raise your hand if you have seen The Matrix, unlike The Matrix. So almost 60% of the room raised their hand. For the remaining 40%, please go watch it. That movie is like from 30 years ago, but it predicted a lot of the things we're seeing happening today. And the killer app. So what was the killer app, or one of the killer apps in The Matrix, is how quickly we can get the AI to be working with us. And today, I still have to work with the AI through my computer, through my glasses. Actually, let me try this. Hey, Meta, look at and describe what you see in detail.
I see a large room with a high ceiling. The room is filled with people sitting in chairs, some of which are arranged in rows. There are tables and chairs scattered throughout the room. The floor has a patterned carpet, and the walls appear to be made of wood or have a wood-like finish. The ceiling is adorned with purple lights, creating...
Another question for you, Meta. How much funding did Contentsquare raise since they launched?
Contentsquare has raised a total of $1.4 billion since launching, including a recent $600 million growth investment round led by 6th Street.
And what's the main value of Contentsquare? Why should they use them? What they're good at?
Contentsquare helps businesses optimize their online presence by transforming raw data into actionable insights, enabling data-driven decisions. They excel in providing detailed UX analytics, heat maps, and session replays to visualize user engagement patterns.
Okay, Meta, you can go away. I'm going to turn it off, actually. Otherwise, you can keep talking to me while I'm talking. But you can see, like, I don't have a superpower. Like, if I'm worried about something, I just ask my question and I have the answer coming to my ears. The people around me don't hear it unless I put the mic on the speaker like I did right now. And I can learn about anything in no time, right? And that is really the killer app for all of us. And the Matrix kind of predicted this. It was a bit more ugly in the Matrix. You had to insert this big khabur in the back of your head that you had to put in. And that had your brain now connect directly with the AI. So not only are you gaining knowledge, which is what I did with you right now, is purely about knowledge, you're gaining intelligence as well. You can do things that your natural IQ cannot do. And that is the killer app. I call it the I know Kung Fu moment because of this scene that we're going to watch together right now. It's only a few seconds that we'll watch together, assuming the network cooperates.
Jiu-jitsu. I'm going to learn jiu-jitsu. Holy shit.
And my kid likes it. Let's move.
Hell yes.
So now he's going to spend 8 hours with the AI feeding his neural network directly. And by the end of that 8 hours, he knows something new that he never knew before. And that's when he will say the line, which by the way is the most famous line from the Matrix.
What was that line? 10 hours straight. He's a machine.
10 hours, not 8 hours. I know Kung Fu. That's the killer app that we're all working towards. Now this is a very cool scene as well. I'm not gonna watch the next scene together where he demonstrates his abilities and what we have learned. Believe it or not, there are startups right now in the Silicon Valley working on this technology, working on very small chips that we're gonna put beside our head that will allow the AI to send information to our neural network directly versus through our ears with glasses like this, or our eyes, or through our senses. No, it will go directly to our brain. That will happen within the next 10 years. And that will really change the world in very significant ways. Now, that said, until that happens, this is how many of us are using these technologies today across our companies. So what are the most impactful use cases for AI? It depends on your industry. It depends on your department, whether you are in marketing, which if you are in marketing, then of course the technology like we have seen today from Contentsquare is a perfect fit. But in every single department, you will see there is new AI applications coming in and changing the way that we do things to make them a lot more efficient than ever before. This curve is how we will transition our budgets and the way we do work over time. This one is specifically built for contact centers. You know, when you call a company to complain about something. Today, we are here, where we have very small software spend up there. That's the software spend. And then we have a lot of people spend on people in our contact centers to answer the phone calls. But as the AI becomes getting more sophisticated and is able to handle the phone calls by itself, just as I showed you right now with me talking to Meta and asking any question, that AI proves to be faster, better, and even more empathic with the customers. Like even if the customer is pissed off and cursing at them, the AI will never get upset. It will always know the best way to calm them down and get them the right answer. And as that keeps happening, at some point we'll have the full AI deployed. We don't need to spend any more on AI now, we're done. And what will happen is that the people will start going down, 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 and the green part here is the savings that we're getting in our business because of deploying this new way. This is exactly how it's going to happen across every single key workflow within our organizations. It's not going to happen overnight, but it's going to happen over time. There is 3 main stages for AI, which I call the crawl stage, the walk stage, and the run stage. And most of you today are in the crawl stage. The crawl stage means I'm using the AI as a question answering tool. I ask a question and I get back an answer. I call that the crawl stage. And you can do that with ChatGPT, and then you can eventually do that with a solution that brings the knowledge of your company as part of it, that AI system. And that's one of the things that actually Vectara does. We help organizations leverage their internal data whether that be from mainframes, from old NetApp filers, from modern software cloud services, to all feed the responses that are coming back from the AI. That is the crawl stage. The walk stage is where the AI now is at automating a key workflow, like designing an entire document from beginning to end. I'm sure many of you are familiar with RFIs, request for information, or request for proposal, or request for compliance. These things typically will have in them 1,000 questions that are being asked in different ways, even though they're after the same information over and over again. And these things can be very laborious for us to keep filling over and over again. AI can fully automate that today. I'll show a quick demo in a second about that. So I call that the walk stage, where you're now automating documents, entire documents, by leveraging the AI. And then the run stage, which is the most advanced stage, where the AI now is allowed to go and make changes in the back end, like we saw today with Sense, where it can recommend, these are some changes, if I make the website right now, it will increase your conversions by this much. Would you like me to go do these changes for you? That is the ultimate stage now, AI becoming an active participant doing work within your organization. I now have a quick video of a demo of the request for proposal use case. It's 1 minute.
Looks like my manager just sent me an email. Oh no, another RFP? It's gonna take me weeks to answer all these questions. It'd be great if I could use deep research. That's not gonna work. Deep research only works with information that's available online. If only there was a...
So you have to fill in all of these questions.
I have to use Vectara Enterprise Deep Research. It has all the power of deep research, but it can run against my internal private data. All I need to do is upload the spreadsheet with all my questions and let it run for about 15 minutes. It'll spin up sub-agents to answer all the questions with the level of detail and accuracy that we are used to with deep research. Now it's done and I can see all the answers. I get a clear yes response with justification and evidence, as well as references I can look at later to verify all this information. And I can even download all the questions and answers to CSV file.
And that is very similar to the, sorry, what was the name of the company that recently was acquired by Contentsquare? Lori or Loris? Loris. So it's very similar to Loris now, where you're telling Loris, go analyze all of my feedback from my end customers. There is tons and tons of conversations, tons and tons of engagements they had with us. I have no idea how to act on it. Go analyze all of that for me and give me back a document that describes in detail the key insights, the key learnings, and what changes to my business should I make. That is the next level of how we will be leveraging AI. So it's not just giving us an answer, it's doing work for us in a much more effective way. The journey for most companies is an extended version of the journey. Again, the crawl, walk, run. So the crawl stage is over here, is about question answering, and then the run stage is all the way on the right, which is about doing actions. Now, why do we deploy AI? And the reason why you should be working with organizations like ourselves, but also with Contentsquare, specifically for the website conversion rate optimization and application optimization space, is that there is pitfalls in AI. And these pitfalls, if you're not careful of them, they can harm you in significant ways. And one of these pitfalls is the hallucination, where the AI can make up stuff. In fact, I'm going to bring up this big disaster that happened in the US, where the Food and Drug Administration adopted AI within analyzing new applications for new drugs, and the AI approved certain drugs, but then it referenced previous trials that never existed. It completely made them up. And that was a major, major disaster. There was another very big disaster that happened a couple of weeks ago with Deloitte in Australia government. I don't know if you saw that one, where again Deloitte had a number of big errors in the reports, and they had to refund the government back because they used AI and did not have the right systems in place to check the accuracy of it. There is a very, very impactful report from MIT that came out about 2 months ago that showed that despite all this amazing promise of AI and this magnificence of what it can do for us, 95% of the projects for AI in companies in the United States fail. And why do they fail? They fail because of lack of knowledge around how to make the AI work correctly and securely. There is so many software developers out there that think they can get AI systems built, which they can build them, but building them is the easy part. Getting them now to work reliably, that's where you benefit a lot from working with a partner. And one of the key insights they had in that report is that if you work with a partner that's specialized in getting that AI to work correctly, whether that be Contentsquare for the marketing and traffic analysis use cases, or Vectara for others, the success rates go up to 67% when you're working with somebody that knows how to make that thing work. Why is it not 100%? I'm going to blame the companies, still not us. I think we know how to make it 100%. This is a key chart that shows the hallucination rates of the top model. You might think, oh, the models are getting better, they will stop making mistakes. No, they will always make mistakes. OpenAI published research last month showing that this hallucination problem is an intrinsic problem that will always be there. We will get it to be lower and lower probability, but it will always be there. So if hallucination is always going to be there, like for example, right now the best in the world is Gemini. Google Gemini is about 0.7%. That means there's a 0.7% chance that the answer you're getting back is completely made up. Can you take that chance in your business? That's the question. And the answer is most of the time, no, you can't. And that's why you want to have something in place that is monitoring these responses and ensuring their accuracy. Again, you folks are going to get access to all the slides, but this is another key slide that shows different use cases within manufacturing, within customer support, healthcare, telecom, financial services, etc., etc. We're happy to engage with you on that. And this is the summary, is that to get these things that are so promising to work with us, to work for us in our businesses, in production, we have to make sure that one, they are grounded in the truth. They don't make up stuff, which can be very dangerous for our business. Two, is that trusted not to leak information from a privacy and data security perspective. And last but not least, one of the key benefits of working with Vectara is we can deliver this platform to be running on-premise, not just in the cloud, which for some of the super sensitive use cases, you require that. Now, I'm going to conclude with one last video I want to show you. This video is from an amazing new tool that OpenAI just released 3 weeks ago. It's not available in Saudi yet. It's only available in the US, Canada, and Japan. And it shows you this direction of how AI is moving to the point where it can just do our bidding for different things. So show of hands, how many of you have heard of or tried the new Sora app from OpenAI, Sora? So I'm seeing about 6 hands go up. I'm sure these 6 hands are already blown away by how amazing Sora is. So now I'm going to show you a couple of videos which I hope will blow you away from Sora, and then we conclude with that. So I essentially asked, in Sora, it can generate a video with a very simple prompt. I want to show you the prompt first. The amazing thing with Sora is how simple the prompt is. If you look at the prompt here, all I'm saying is Sama, who's Sam Altman, and Master Chief, that's me, my alias is Master Chief, are giving a pitch in Egyptian Arabic about what Contentsquare does. That's it. And I said this in Riyadh. They should talk like very professional speakers. And then I gave it some information about Contentsquare that I grabbed from the Contentsquare website. And that was it. I didn't say anything about the camera angles, the lighting. I just figured it out for me. And it made 5 versions. in 30 seconds, it made 5 different versions. This is a cool version. This one only has him, but then I'll show you another version with both of us.
تانية. لو معاك خريطة تبين لك كل ده لحظة بلحظة هتعرف تصلح ايه وتزود مبيعاتك، صح؟ ده بالظبط اللي Contentsquare بتعمله لأي موقع أو تطبيق. المنصة بتسجل تلقائياً كل حركة، كل ضغطة، كل سحب بالأصبع كل يوم، وبالذكاء الاصطناعي بتحول السلوك ده لمعلومة واضحة. بنوريك إعادة جلسات كأنك واقف ورا المستخدم. كل إن عندك سوق كبير في قلب الرياض، الناس داخلة ماشية بتقف قدام بعض المحلات وبتهرب من أماكن تانية. لو معاك خريطة تبين لك كل ده لحظة بلحظة هتعرف تصلح ايه وتزود مبيعاتك، صح؟ ده بالظبط اللي Contentsquare بتعمله لأي موقع أو تطبيق. المنصة بتسجل تلقائياً كل حركة، كل ضغطة، كل سحب بالأصبع كل يوم.
بعدين عايز أوريكم الفيديو الثاني اللي احنا الاثنين فيه مع بعض. You can see how it made 5 videos. Like there's multiple versions. That's the cool thing. This way you can get to pick the video that you think is the best. And imagine now when your video production team has to go and shoot that over 5 different ways.
لازم تعرف كل زبون بيعمل ايه. هنا يجي دور Contentsquare. هو زي نظام كاميرات ذكي، بس مش بس بيصور، ده كمان فاهم ليه الناس بتقف او بتسيب العربيه قبل الكشف بالظبط.
المنصه بتسجل كل جلسه يوميا وبعدها توريك اعاده تشغيل كانك بترجع الشركه، ومعاها ترجمات تقول لك هنا المستخدم اتلخبط او هنا البوتن كان بعيد.
وكمان عندك خرائط حراريه توريك فين الناس بتطلع، ورحله العميل كامله زي جوجل مابس لكن لتجربه موقع، حتى بتجمع صوت العميل. انت عندك مول عملاق على الانترنت.
Anyway, so that's the summary, and this I conclude my talk is to ask you, please pay attention to AI. Make sure you're walking right now. You should be walking at least, if not running. You should not be crawling anymore. Crawling was last year. In terms of adopting this technology across the different parts of your business, and not just only using ChatGPT. That's the tip of the iceberg. You have to dig deeper within the iceberg. Thank you very much.